All right, joining me now, former mayor of Philadelphia, Michael Nutter. He's also the national political chairman of the Bloomberg for President campaign. Mayor, great to have you, man.
John, thanks for having me.
Okay, now, Iowa, complete disaster for everybody else except Mayor Bloomberg, right? Complete catastrophe. They couldn't put a 3-car funeral together. They still don't have the final results. It's 5 days later. I'm going to be spending the next 6 days in New Hampshire following the Dems. You're not there. We're going to get to Super Tuesday. Here's my take, and I want to get your input. I think after New Hampshire, Wednesday, it's going to be 2 people, Bloomberg, Sanders. That's it. What say you?
Well, I appreciate how you cut to the chase. We're Democrats, so there'll be more than just the 2 that you mentioned. I think that, look, yes, obvious problems in Iowa, but we don't need to go back through all of that. New Hampshire, Nevada, South Carolina. The rest of February there will be contests. Hopefully, no technical difficulties as in Iowa. But I think, in a different way, I think I'll say it's quite possible that out of the 4 contests, there'll be multiple winners from different races, depending on who's been doing what in those locales. And from our perspective, no definitive, clear front-runner winner circumstance. And then we're on the field Super Tuesday, March 10th, and all the other contests during the month of March. 60% of the Democratic delegates selected during the month of March. We're up and running and active in all Super Tuesday states. We, I think, may still be the only campaign that has active operations in all of those states with a robust effort. And so I expect that we will have a very, very active, successful Super Tuesday and all the March contests. We think that the field for us as Democrats may start to shrink during the course of March, and Mike Bloomberg will be certainly one of the leading candidates, and then it's going to be the rest of the primary and caucus season, and we will start to see some of the successes that you need to be a leading, contending Democratic candidate. We're also hopeful, of course, that somewhere during the course of the month of February, we'll be on the Democratic debate stage, and people get a chance to compare and contrast, if you will, all of the major candidates. We're very excited about where we are and looking forward to active contests.
Well, Joe Biden's done. He's not going to win South Carolina. He's going to get blown out in New Hampshire. We're going to be there for 5 days. We predicted his downfall in Iowa. We were right. The Des Moines Register didn't put the poll out because Biden was in 5th place behind Amy Klobuchar, and they all hit the panic button. And it's going to be Bloomberg or Sanders. Sanders just put a press release out, and he said that he's investing $5.5 million in advertising on Super Tuesday. The Bloomberg campaign is spending that at 8 o'clock. The money you guys are dropping.
Is what?
The Bloomberg campaign spent $5.5 million at 8 a.m. today. You spent that at the 8 o'clock hour. Bernie's spending it for the whole, at 10 states.
Yeah.
You guys are.
I understand.
But the other thing is, I want to tell so everybody understands.
We need to tell our story.
Well, you guys have a ground game, okay? You have a ground game, and the people I'm talking to,
the one on the ground.
You got a ground game. It's massive. The number of Democratic operatives who I'm talking to, who have gone to work for Bloomberg, it's off the chart. It's everybody in my phone is working for you guys. And so this idea that, Bloomberg is just going to come in and buy it. No, he's spending his money.
No.
But you've got You got
I mean,
thousands of
we're trying to
people
act
now
like
in these
everybody
states.
else. Yes, we do. We have 2,000 staff people spread across 35 states now. As I said earlier, I think we're the only campaign with active paid staff on the ground in every Super Tuesday state across the United States of America. We're serious about what we're doing. We're not messing around. And look, I'd be the first to say that just because you have financial resources, that doesn't automatically mean you win. But we want to put ourselves in the best possible position, and that's what we've been working towards over the last 8, 9, 10 weeks, all across the country. We're not messing around.
Let me draw a comparison so that our audience can understand the depth of the Bloomberg campaign. May I? I was chairman of Trump, Virginia, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
During the entire primary campaign, the height of our primary effort before the convention, at its apex, we had 50 paid staff. 50. I just want people to. I don't mean in Virginia. In Virginia, I had 5 or 4 because we were just coming out of Super Tuesday. 50 people on the entire primary campaign before the convention. Mayor Bloomberg has 2,000 people. That is 20 times what we had, and we won the nomination with 50 paid staff. I mean, we're not making this up. You guys got 2,000 people. I mean, think about it, Mayor.
Yeah.
This is a juggernaut.
Well, look, we, as you and I have talked about this. So we are running what we refer to as a general election type of campaign in the primary and caucus season. This is what it takes. We have, some great Democratic candidates out there. Folks have been campaigning for 8, 9, 10 months, a year. We're, as I said, we're like 9 weeks old. So we have a lot of ground to catch up, a lot of runway here, and but we also have a candidate who has a great story. I mean, it's not just the money. Mike is a successful 3-term mayor of New York. He built a business from scratch, which is very, very successful. One of the most successful businesses on the planet, and he's one of the best and strongest philanthropists anywhere in the United States and around the world. So, part of our challenge is we do have a really great candidate with a really great story that not many people know. They've heard his name, but they don't know, the full depth of what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. This is a person who has invested in, efforts to deal with climate change, public safety, education, gun violence, infrastructure. I mean, all of these issues. I mean, he's actually dealt with as the CEO of the largest city in the United States of America for 12 years. Not perfect. Things happen. It's public, it's public service. We're not perfect servants. But overall, certainly anyone would have to say that New York was in much better shape when Mike left as compared to when he came into office. That's the mark of a leader, and that's who he is.
So, Mayor Nutter, two things. You're going to continue as you get to Super Tuesday. Your candidate is going to continue to be criticized that he's parachuting in, spending millions and millions of dollars to buy the nomination.
Of his own money. No, we're trying to tell our story. I mean, all of the candidates, all of the campaigns by advertisements have staff. I mean, folks don't work for free. It's very expensive to run for president of the United States of America. They're doing fundraisers, and our campaign, we have one funder, a self-made billionaire who uses his resources, his own money, to support a number of causes, and one of those big causes is, of course, his own campaign. So, look, I mean, you get in when you get in, and everyone has whatever resources they have, and, I think that folks need to, kind of come to terms with this is a serious effort, a serious candidate, serious campaign. It is what it is. Let's move on.
Mayor Nutter, a lot of people believe that the National Democratic Party is going to once again try to put the screws to Bernie Sanders in any way that they can. We saw it. We saw evidence of that in Iowa. I don't think they're gonna be able to stop him in New Hampshire. But if you get to the convention and
John,
there's not
John.
Yes.
The DNC. I mean, until most recently, when I, even including while I was in office as mayor, I mean, I was a local political official. I was a ward leader in Philadelphia, one of the 69 ward leaders that make up the local Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm.
The DNC has nothing to do with elections on the ground. Zero. Mm-hmm. Local people, local officials run elections. So, I mean, this is there are some people, I guess, who look for, issues and conspiracies and evidence of being involved. It's just not true. I mean, for all of my political life, I mean, the DNC has nothing to do with elections in the Winfield section of Philadelphia or anywhere else.
So what happens?
They don't run elections.
What happens if your candidate? What happens, Mayor Nutter, if your candidate gets to the convention and there's no winner on the first ballot, which is possible right now, and then you go to the second ballot, and then the superdelegates come in, and the superdelegates don't want Sanders, and they want Bloomberg, plus he's got all the money, so then they vote in Bloomberg. I mean, how are you going to spin that with the Sanders people who are going to feel like they got screwed again?
Well, look, first of all, we don't know. I mean, what you laid out is certainly a possible scenario. I mean, look, we just had Iowa had their caucus. I mean, we got 49 other states and 7 territories to go. So, I mean, I think everybody should just, kind of calm themselves down and let's go through the process, and hopefully, nothing similar to Iowa will happen anywhere else. That's one. So we're a long ways away from July. I mean, it is literally February, right?
Right.
Second, the rules are the rules, and they were agreed to by, a variety of, people and entities across the entire political spectrum, including folks who may be supporters of Senator Sanders. But, I mean, again, the rule change about superdelegates was long and drawn out, multiple discussions over months, but those are now the rules. Superdelegates can't vote on the first ballot. We'll see what happens. But, I mean, no one's trying to jam anybody up. We do want to have, at some point we need to have a nominee, right? Coming out of the convention, going into it or coming out of it, we need a nominee so that somebody's name is on the ballot in November, and folks need to close ranks and as Democrats and seriously unite behind who that nominee is, and however it happens. I mean, this is democracy. I mean, sometimes it's not particularly pretty, but as a Democrat, I mean, our focus is, defeating Donald Trump in the November election. And I think, all of us need to be, kind of big boys and big girls, put our big boy pants on, and come to grips with the reality of where we may be in July in Milwaukee.
All right, final question, because I know you're short on time.
Yeah.
A lot of people telling me, look, Mayor Bloomberg is not really in this thing to win. He's in it to defeat Trump, spend millions of dollars, spend hundreds of millions of dollars on ads, soften the president, get his negatives out.
I mean, nobody,
are you guys in this to win?
I mean, this is not a game.
Right.
Of course we're in it to win. I mean, Mike Bloomberg is 77 years old. I mean, you don't just wake up one day and say, hey, I think I'd like to run for president of the United States of America. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of other things that he could be doing with himself. Mm-hmm. He's running all over the country. Mm-hmm. Planes, trains, automobiles, putting himself out there, and certainly spending a whole lot of money to communicate a message. We had a fantastic night in Philadelphia just the other night, while there were people still trying to figure out what was happening in the caucus process in Iowa. So, I mean, this is a very, very serious effort here. I mean, Mike is a serious guy. He deals with data. He deals with evidence. He deals with science. He deals with information. And that's how he decided to run. And that's how we're now running for president of the United States of America. He is in this election to win.
Well, the decision that you made is playing out partly because of the Iowa debacle. But look, my prediction is you're going to win Virginia on Super Tuesday. I have no doubt in my mind. I've talked to your people. You're going to win Virginia. You're going to win states and amass delegates on Super Tuesday. And I think it comes. Look, Joe Biden's not even going to get to Super Tuesday. You're going to get all those moderate votes are going to come to you. He's dead in the water. I don't think he gets out of South Carolina. And my assessment here today is, and I know we want to give respect to the other candidates, but once we get out of New Hampshire and South Carolina, it's going to be Bloomberg or Sanders. And Democratic voters, that's going to be the choice they have. And I guess Hillary Clinton might parachute in or something, but it's going to be Sanders, Bloomberg, and I think you guys are going to go Milwaukee.
You and I will talk between now and then. I mean, you will, if what you have laid out comes to fruition, then, look, I'm going to be asking you, to make a recommendation on buying a lottery ticket in early March. So we'll see how prescient you are.
Well, you're definitely gonna win Virginia, and
we certainly hope
these
so.
Other states,
and a few others.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we get up Super Tuesday the day after, and you've won 6 or 7 or 8 states and amass, you can come out of Super Tuesday with a lead in delegates in the Democratic primary. I just don't think people are taking the campaign seriously. This is a serious effort. I mean, you've got right now a 50-50 chance of being the nominee, I think.
Well, my grandmother used to always tell me, she said, son, I can show you better than I can tell you. And we have a story to tell, but we're going to show people something on Super Tuesday and March 10th and the other contests during the course of March. So let's keep talking, and we'll see what happens.
Mayor, thank you for being with us. Mayor Michael Nutter, former mayor of Philadelphia. He is the national political chairman of the Mayor Mike Bloomberg for President campaign. Mr. Mayor, thank you for being with us.